it is I, Lindsay. I'm doing this without Jamie for the time being because she's at work, and there was just some things I wanted to say. I apologize for the darkness. I have a really badly lit room, which is not aided by the fact that yesterday the best light I had, there are three. There's one up in the ceiling, one the lamp behind me, and then a pull string one that would have been in front of me, but for whatever reason, yesterday it decided not to want to turn off, no matter how hard I tried, and which is very curious behavior for a light bulb. Okay, I have to brag also for a second because last night I hadn't written anything until like 11:20, and I had 1,200 words to go, and I finished with 2 minutes to spare before midnight. I was so proud of myself. I was up really late last night for no good reason. Mainly it was just me being unable to sleep and just being unproductive and watching YouTube videos all night. And I came to 3 realizations. One of them being that once it passes 3 o'clock in the morning, I start seeing invisible gnats everywhere out of the corners of my eyes. And I swear I see like a little black dot just zip, and I'm just like, but there's nothing there. I look around very paranoid because I don't like gnats. So either my eyes are becoming strained and they can't focus and they're starting to see things that aren't there, or that past 3 a.m. I'm made able to see through the shimmering veil of another dimension where only gnats live. The second realization, which is actually relevant to NaNoWriMo, is that well, it was like 4, and I was on Naramon's channel. It was a very funny gentleman, and he took Twilight, the book, and was reading it and reviewing each chapter. I encourage everyone to watch it, it's quite funny. I realized that there were some frightening parallels between what I was doing and Twilight, which may be insight as to why I hate it so much. P.S. I still don't know anything about Montana. Haven't looked it up, but I'll be getting on that. I really wanted to set it in Washington because that's where I live and that's what I know. But I felt like setting a werewolf story in Washington was literary suicide, so I didn't do it. So anyway, I realized that, yeah, it was nauseatingly similar in a lot of aspects. So the first being that Lucas, my main character, is a werewolf and therefore a supernatural creature. Edward Cullen also happens to be a supernatural creature, just not a werewolf, a vampire. Still, it's like they're two ends of a spectrum, pretty much. Hold on, I have notes. Okay, so yeah, Edward is a supernatural creature. Lucas is a supernatural creature. That's not a huge deal. That happens. Edward tries to stay away from Bella, but doesn't want to. Annalise is the girl in my story, and Lucas tries to stay away from her, but doesn't want to. And it's starting to get a little bit too, you know. But then it gets to a big event, and that's when I start to realize that, oh crap, I'm cliche and I have no imagination, is the fact that Edward kind of breaks the ice by rescuing Bella from being crushed by a truck. So death, basically. Or, as most of us can hope for, dismembering injury, but likely it would have been death. So then Lucas breaks the ice by rescuing Anna from drowning. So far we've got supernatural creatures trying to stay away from human girls, but don't want to rescue them from death. Shh. So there's that. And then the fourth thing, which is the most recent addition to what I've done, and probably the worst part, is that Bella wants Edward to bite her. And Annalise wants Lucas to bite her. This just happened like a day ago, and I just wrote it just because I was sick of writing going to a river and eating fish, so I wanted more emotion. That's what I ended up with. However, the biting thing, I have to say, was kind of intentional, and I wanted to kind of contrast that to Twilight and sort of make fun of it in a way. Okay, I have to admit at this point that yes, I've read them. They were a guilty pleasure up until Breaking Dawn, and then everything just went to hell. However, who else is going to go see Breaking Dawn? because that's gonna be a train wreck. I don't know how anybody could want to miss out on seeing Bella vomit blood and then have her spine break as she's trying to give birth. It's incredible to me. So yeah, I was trying to make sort of a point, because in Twilight, if you haven't read it, good. If you have, I'm gonna summarize again. So it's Bella wanting him to bite her and be like, oh please, we can live together forever, and he's like, I want that, but no. And in my case, it's one scene, briefly, and then never brought up again, because she's an idiot teenager who doesn't know what she wants. And that's what he's like, oh, you're stupid, I'm gonna leave. Call me when you grow a brain, because what you're asking is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard out of a human mouth. So, and then she's like, yeah, sorry, you're right, end of debacle. Like, that's how it should have been. So, that leaves me with one of two options, one of which really isn't even an option, and that is to quit, because I'm almost 20,000 words in, and that's just not an option at all, because it's like I wasted 2 weeks. Also, if I quit, I would feel like a charlatan when I drank out of this. You may not be able to see it because it's incredibly dark. There it is. Ooh. Yeah, option number one, not really an option at all, not gonna quit. Or option number two, which is what I'm obviously going to do, is to just scrap pretty much everything I've just done. Leave it because I need the word count, but try to add an element in there that's not going to make me hate everything I do. I've considered that being something like changing Annalise completely and making her be like, I don't know, pregnant or something. No, crap, I can't do it. Okay. Maybe she could have a club foot or have one eye. But somehow it's going to have to change. Somehow I'm going to have to just revamp something, add an element or an event or something that is going to make this not cliche. That was the entire point of the exercise in the first place. The initial idea I had, you know, a couple months before November was something kind of humorous, because that's what I did last year, and I feel like that would be playing to my strengths, because that, oh god, that one was so much easier, and I actually liked it. So the initial idea was just to take a werewolf, reinvent it sort of, to not be, you know, the standard vicious full moon killer. I wanted to make him live in a state park and just kind of hang out and still be friends with the bear, but have it be kind of silly, because it is. Kind of like write it from as though he were keeping a diary, which I guess I ended up scrapping because it had some plausibility issues, like why would a werewolf have a diary? But I wanted, you know, to be like July 7th. Another camper mistook me for Bigfoot. You know, just like things like that. Just a lot of really goofy, like, non-emotional, but still working, you know, the serious emotional things that come with being a werewolf, sort of, or being anything that was once human and is no longer. I said there were 3 realizations, didn't I? Okay, that third one, which somehow is even more distressing than the fact that my story may be a Twilight ripoff, is that it's only been 12 days. We've got a whole lot more to go. Damn you.